My name is Charles Cherry, and I live at 2104 Liberty Valley Road in Greensboro. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. To all those of Hispanic heritage, thank you for what you bring to our community to include your diversity. Assistant Chiefs Anita Holder and Dwight Crotts committed crimes against me. District Attorney Doug Henderson is now reviewing those criminal complaints. I will keep you posted. Councilwoman Diane Bellamy Smalls proudly wears her braided locks and colorful dashikis, expressing her ethnicity. However, when she was a Greensboro police officer, based on her accounts, she experienced racism, discrimination, and sexism, eventually leaving the department. If a council member called a citizen a racist epithet tonight, they wouldn't be a council member tomorrow. Talk to people like Jimmy the Greek or Don Imus. Although those individuals don't have the power to take your freedom or your life like a Greensboro police officer, remember, 2 unarmed black men gunned down by Greensboro police within the last 5 years. I was informed through GPD officers that Officer G.F. Pinson, a training officer, referred to a Hispanic officer in the most racist, derogatory, insensitive, and unprofessional manner. Officer Pinson called the Hispanic officer a wetback, the equivalent of calling an African American the N-word. I filed a complaint on behalf of the Hispanic officer. The GPD conducted an investigation, and the GPD concluded, and I quote, "After careful review, it has been determined that Officer Pinson's actions were in violation." I repeat, were in violation. Therefore, a ruling of sustained has been assigned, end quote. Officer Pinson called his coworker a racist epithet. Chief Ken Miller, you must have a standard of non-tolerated conduct. Chief Ken Miller, you can't manage what you can't measure. You cannot measure the extent to which a police officer will take racism, given the authority they have. No law enforcement agency in the country will allow known racists to police their communities. You have never been certain, you can never be certain of why Officer Pinson takes actions he does against minorities. Officer Pinson is a training officer, still employed, and training other officers at the GPD, producing a legion of racists. I would like for Assistant City Manager Michael Speedling, who supervises the GPD, to come to the podium and explain to our 9% Hispanic, 46% minority, and community at large how and why a racist officer using racist epithets can retain employment at the GPD. Assistant City Manager Michael Speedling. And if you would just raise your hand so we can know who you are. Could you come to the podium? Assistant City Manager Michael Speedling. I'm going to point you out just to make sure that everybody knows. Will you raise your hand? Assistant City Manager Michael Speedling, will you come to the podium and tell our 9% Hispanic, 46% minority, and community at large why a racist officer using racist epithets can retain employment at the GPD? Assistant City Manager Michael Speedling, would you please come earn your $117,000 salary? Thank you for your time.
Now we have Robert Reyes, and then Ahmed Blake, and Alfonso McGlynn, in that order.
Good evening. My name is Robert Reyes. I reside at 17 Aspen Drive in Greensboro. I'm a former Greensboro police officer. I am at this recorded council meeting giving you the council authority to review or have review my city personnel file if that is needed to resolve my concern. I will provide you with a copy of this signed document giving you the authority. In addition, because resolving this issue is essential in maintaining public confidence in GPD. Personnel law will allow you access to my files. I am Hispanic. I filed a complaint of discrimination through channels to City Manager Rashad Young's office. Police Chief Kim Miller terminated me, stating I was insubordinate because the complaint was filed in Mr. Young's office. City Manager Rashad Young concurred with Chief Miller. The city, wanting to verify if my termination was justified, solicited the Unemployment Security Commission, a neutral party, to review and make the determination of whether I was justly terminated or not. The Unemployment Security Commission officer ruled in my favor, and I quote, "Claimant did not act with any malice or substantial disregard of employer's policy when he submitted the September 3rd, 2030 complaints to Mr. Young's office. Claimant had a reasonable reason for such submission. Furthermore, this cannot be considered a deliberate violation of policy. Thereafter, claimant was told not to submit any further documentation to Mr. Young's office. Claimant did not. The complaints ended up in Mr. Young's office cannot be attributed to the claimant. Claimant submitted those complaints to the proper chain of command. Claimant cannot be deemed insubordinate in this manner because he did not act in defiance of the orders given by Mr. Young and Mr. Miller, end quote. In addition, Mr. Young stated in my termination document that I gave Reverend Nelson Johnson confidential employee information that Reverend Nelson Johnson gave to the local media. This is a lie. And on Friday, Reverend Nelson filed a complaint on September 30th, 2011. Counsel, the reality is I was terminated because I filed legitimate complaints of discrimination to include a complaint against Chief of Police Kim Miller. A recent GPD investigation officer, G.F. Pinson, confirms racist actions against Hispanics in GPD. This also confirms the climate for Hispanics and minorities in GPD. It is clearly learned behavior as Officer Pinson is a training officer. Counsel, now that you know that I am Hispanic, the independent employment hearing officer solicited by the city ruled in my favor. You know that Hispanics are targeted and discriminated against in GPD. Mr. Young lied on Reverend Nelson Johnson in my termination document, and I was terminated for filing complaints of discrimination. I humbly request that you direct Mr. Young to write me a letter proclaiming that I was unjustly terminated. Will you do that for me, please? And I have copies I'd like to just go ahead and pass and leave with the council members. Do you want me to go ahead and hand it to him? Is there any questions?
Next speaker, please. Your time's expired, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ahmed Blake, and I live at 5856 Old Oak Ridge Road in Greensboro. I am Hispanic. I am a former Greensboro police officer. I filed a complaint against Sergeant James Hofkemeyer for calling Hispanic citizens wetbacks. Sergeant Hofkemeyer admitted to making the comment. Assistant Chief Dwight Cross did nothing except tell me that it looked as if though I was hypersensitive. I made complaints against the GPD gang unit for targeting Hispanics. The GPD retaliated against me. Captain John Wolf called me, and I quote, a sorry sack of SHIT, end quote. I complained of a hostile work environment. Captain Wolf admitted to making the comment. Captain John Wolf was not disciplined. Instead, the retaliation became greater to the point that officers threatened not to assist me on radio calls. Assistant Chief Anita Holder accosted me while off duty, had me taken to her office, and threatened my employment because I waved at a Hispanic citizen. I complained of the violation to Mr. Rashad Young. Mr. Young never investigated my complaints. In August of 2010, the same Assistant Chief Crotts, who stated I was hypersensitive for complaining of discrimination, terminated me. I was terminated for malicious gossip because of truthful statements I made at a press conference regarding discrimination and disparaging treatment against minorities. Mr. Young confirmed the statements that I made were truthful. In addition, I had already been punished previously for that particular incident. Counsel, Sergeant Hofkemeyer and Officer G.F. Pinson, a training officer, are confirmed racists that target Hispanics. Can you have Mr. Young explain why we have confirmed racist officers wrongfully targeting minorities and administrators that condone it working at the GPD? Also, will you direct Mr. Young to investigate my allegations of discrimination? And I have a copy for council members and the media. Thank you.
Next speaker is Curtis H. Brown, followed by James Lewis and Jorge Cornell. Jorge.
Good evening. I'm Curtis Brown. I live at 6106 Long Branch Court. Pleasant Garden, North Carolina. I'm here today to ask Mr. Young to explain why on August 16th he said that there were no officers who were allowed to investigate themselves. I want us to look just for a moment, 2 minutes, at this DVD and see if this is not so.
And disciplined you, and then tells you can have a hearing, and the chief of police is the chair of that hearing. How do you feel you have it? You have fair shake? I mean, I don't, and I'm not ridiculing.
Police can't police the community if they can't police themselves. So officers have to file complaints with the people that the complaints are against. Which means, as Nelson and others have said, in order for the officers to be found innocent, the people who the complaints are against would have to find themselves guilty.
So why you didn't do it?
So I'm just trying to.
So therefore, but you just said that you weren't named, but now see how you investigate yourself?
Because I was directed to.
See?
And I will continue to be doing the same thing when I'm directed to. You didn't put my name in here, first of all, and also I have to do a response on the one that you put my name in. So I'll do that too. I'll do that too, because guess what? It came from the city manager. And if it comes from the city manager, comes down through my chain, I do what my boss tells me to do. I'm just going to tell you. He directs me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Okay? So if it comes down the chain back to me, guess what? Sergeant Davis is going to take care of it. And that's what I'm going to do. And again, I am telling you, I've told you once, probably 2 times, 3 times, anything else needs to come through me. And it will go up the chain appropriately. If there's
That's clearly an evidence that officers are allowed to investigate themselves. To further prove that, this is a signed document where Sergeant Davis signed it after investigating himself and acquitting himself of any wrongful act. I'd like to give you that. That video and that signed document.
My name is Nelson Johnson. I reside at 2115 Murray Hill Road in the city of Greensboro. I submitted a complaint to this council concerning a false statement in the report of our city manager. Let me say that and I hope that you've gotten it, I hope that you've read it, that I really don't like to come here, and I don't like to share things like I'm sharing, but it's very, very serious. In that report, the city manager said that I was given confidential information by an officer that I was counseling, that I then gave that information to the media. That's absolutely not true. There's no truth whatsoever in it. And I've given you that report. I've documented it. Not only did I not give it, I didn't instruct anybody else to give it. I didn't encourage anybody to give it. And I didn't speak to anyone about giving it. If a report revealed that, that was an awfully flawed investigative process. And so I'm asking this council, as the employer of our city manager, to investigate this and to make a good faith determination, because I know it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And it is a serious matter when a leading person in our city makes a false statement, submits it to writing, and takes it before the employment council, and the results are, it wasn't really honored there because they didn't raise it. I was down there to testify. But it was part of termination of Officer Reyes. That's very serious. It damages his family. And I want to say to you, I hope you don't blow this off and say that it's just part of a batch of complaints. I'm asking you to take it serious. Personally, this is not personal. When you base policy and actions on falsehoods, you're headed down the wrong road. I'm probably the easiest person in the city to slander and to blame. But I'm going to stand up, and even though it's a few of us, everything starts with a few. 4 is few. And I want you to take this serious, and I want you to give me a response after you've looked at this. And if you find it to be true, and you almost have to, then I want an apology from our city manager on behalf of the city, and I want the truth represented in that report on Officer Reyes. Thank you.
All right.